Oh, what's all this then, huh? Curse lifted, is it? Tidy!
Hello, I'm Andy Robinson. I'm the editor of CVG, and joining me is Chris Scullion, who is the games editor, with myself.
Hello.
And he's been playing Ni No Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, which is the latest RPG from Level 5 and Anime Master Studio Ghibli. Level 5, you'll know, are the makers of the Professor Layton games and Inazuma 11 titles for DS. So, Chris, JRPGs, we haven't had a good one for a while, have we? Or at least not a massively successful one.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, all the recent ones that spring to mind, your Final Fantasies and the like, have really kind of disappointed.
So what makes this so great then?
It's a really solid adventure. I mean, most RPGs these days are a bit of a slog, but this one just seems to do everything right. All the things that have annoyed me in more recent RPGs just seem to just come together properly here. The battle system's decent, the exploration's fine, the side quests don't annoy and irritate like they do in some games. It's just
what's the story then? Set it up. What's it about?
The story is you play this little boy called Oliver, who something really bad happens to him at the start. I don't want to spoil it, but it is literally like 10 minutes into the game. His world gets turned upside down.
He doesn't get his Pokemon cards stolen, does he?
He does not, but I believe that may be DLC.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. So yeah, something really bad happens to him right at the start of the game, and he, upon grieving, his tears land on his little doll, which turns into a fairy called Dripper. And as you do, and yeah, so the fairy tells him, by the way, there's an alternative reality called Ni No Kuni, which you can travel to using magic. And everything that you do in there can have an effect on the real world, so your tragedy can be fixed.
And it's a beautiful looking game, as you'd expect from a collaboration with Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, it uses cel shading graphics, which some would say has been overused quite a bit, but when it's used as well as this, it's really pretty spectacular. And it also intercuts that with a lot of 2D animation from Studio Ghibli, so you would swear it was like Spirited Away or something like that when you see a lot of these cutscenes.
And obviously what you can't see in the stills is what I hear is a pretty special soundtrack as well.
Yeah, I mean the music's incredible. It's the same composer who's done a lot of the Ghibli music, so anyone who's seen any of the more recent stuff, well, any of their stuff at all, My Neighbor Totoro and all that kind of stuff, will kind of know what kind of soundtrack to expect. But it was recorded by the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra and all this, because it's a proper serious soundtrack. It just sounds unbelievable.
How's the English dub gone? I hear there's a Welsh fairy.
There is, yeah. Your kind of sidekick fairy is Welsh, which is interesting. But yeah, no, the dub's really good. A lot of the kind of supporting characters have kind of hammer up quite a bit. It's like proper over the top acting. But luckily, the kid that plays Oliver and the Welsh guy they've got in to play the fairy are really good. They make up for it. I mean, I usually play these sort of things with a Japanese dub, and you can get the Japanese dub is available if you want that. But it's one of the few games where I wouldn't have a problem playing it in English because it's so well done.
So down to the business of gameplay, what's so special about the quest, the battle system, and why should fans of JRPGs flock to this?
The battle system's really interesting because it feels a bit like the kind of Tales games, but they've added this extra kind of layer of depth to it that you can use if you want. You don't have to, but basically you can fight as Oliver, but you can also fight as things that are called as familiars, which are like little creatures that are given to him as he goes along, and you can name it and you can give it food to build up its skills and stuff, and it can level up like you can and learn spells. It's a bit like Pokemon. As he levels up, he learns new abilities and stuff. But it turns out all the enemies in the game you fight, the like 300 or so enemies, they can all be caught and trained as familiars and all that. So essentially there are up to like 300 characters you can play as in the battle system. So it's a real-time battle system where you're running about, and you can the key is to kind of wait for read your enemy's pattern and then dive in at the right time and everything. But the fact there's like 300 different characters you can use for this, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, is essentially as deep as you want it to be.
So is this one just for fans of JRPGs, or would you be able to? Would fans outside of the genre get attracted? Would you recommend it?
I think, yeah, I'd say so. I think fans of JRPGs and fans of Studio Ghibli, it's a given. This is an absolute must-have. That's 100%. But fans of, I'd really do strongly suggest that even if you're not properly into RPGs, or maybe you were into them back in the day, maybe like Final Fantasy 7 and 8, and have kind of gone off the genre, to get back into it and try this, because it's one of the best examples of it, and it's just everything about it is so well crafted that it's rare that a game these days is so well put together.